Obviously, not earth-shattering news here, but when you take a look back and you take a look at right from his opening press conference to his relationship with then GM Mike Maccagnan, is it hyperbole to say Adam Gase's tenure here in New York was almost doomed from the start?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly didn't get off to a good start in that press conference. It was awkward. He never really laid out a vision for the team, but you never want to judge too much from that press conference. But, that was just the beginning of all the bad things that just started on a roll. You know, they had a lot of injuries in his first season. He lost his starting quarterback to mononucleosis. Even before that, there was a rift with the general manager that hired him, Mike Maccagnan, a little bit of a power struggle in the organization. He never really seemed to be on solid footing, never came in, took control, inspired a lot of confidence. It just seemed like a hiring that had started to go wrong right from the start.
When you look over his 2-year run here, what do you think was his biggest misstep as the head coach of the Jets?
Well, not figuring out that offense. It's a broad misstep, but you remember that Christopher Johnson called him a brilliant offensive mind. He was hired because the Jets wanted some offensive whiz who could turn Sam Darnold into a franchise quarterback. And yeah, there were bad injuries that they had to deal with and bad weapons on the team, a roster that wasn't constructed well. But any coach who's really an offensive genius has to do better, even with minimal tools, than 32nd in the league on offense 2 years in a row. So, what did he do wrong? He just never really had a cohesive offensive plan that fit his quarterback, that worked for his quarterback. And really, that was his main charge when he arrived. He just couldn't figure it out.
And we've discussed so many Sunday nights on Football Night in New York, the fact that he was buried in that play sheet and wasn't really a leader of men, didn't really pay attention at all to the defense, let Greg Williams run that show right up until the final moment of Greg Williams' career with the Hail Mary by the Raiders. Okay, so we get that maybe he wasn't a great leader, but let's go back to that relationship. Even with Sam Darnold, weapons aside, he never really how come it did not work just with Sam Darnold alone, where you would see some progress in the young quarterback?
I don't think that he really had an offensive system that fit Sam Darnold well. Any young quarterback I've covered, there's a moment in there where the coach and the quarterback sit down and figure out, okay, what do you like in this offense? What don't you like? How can I tailor this system to you? Adam Gase's system was his system. It's the same one he ran with Peyton Manning. It's the same one he ran with Ryan Tannehill and the backups down there. And it's the same one he ran with Sam Darnold. There were certainly some tweaks, but he never really said, okay, these are the plays that Sam Darnold does better than other quarterbacks I've had. I'm going to run my offense this way. So they just never completely meshed. And again, it's not completely his fault. Sam Darnold had a shoulder injury this year to deal with. He had mono to deal with in that first year, but no offseason this year, no preseason games. It all conspired against them. But it was Adam Gase's job to figure out a way to make that work, and he just never did.